Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another Facebook Live with Leanne. We have some really neat cards to make today. It's bay window cards. Just gonna wait a little bit for my laptop to sync up so I can welcome people. Let me know if you're on, where you're from. If you're stamping tonight, if you prepped your pieces, because some people like to stamp right along with me, and other people like to watch and do it again later. Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Linda. Sharon. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Betty, hello. Already shared, Sharon. You're awesome. Thank you. Hi, Marcy from Washington and Minnesota, Virginia. Awesome. Welcome everybody, and a few Minot gals as well. So thanks for sharing. I appreciate that. Hopefully people who you shared with will enjoy the video as well. So we are going to, the two designer papers are Bloom Where You're Planted, and this is in the annual catalog, Stampin' Up! Annual catalog, and it is on sale right now because we have 9 designer papers that are on sale. This is one of them, marked down to $9.78 for 12 by 12 sheets. And the other one is the Beauty of the Earth designer paper. So those are the two we're going to work with, both in the annual catalog. Hello everybody, welcome. Okay, so here is the first one that I made. Now this is, you can kind of catch it if you want to. Isn't that neat how it is a bay window? Really neat, but it folds flat for mailing. And I think the average person would get it, as far as, you know, some fun folds, they don't know how to work it. They're not stampers. They just don't know what they're supposed to do. But I think that this is intuitive enough that they're going to see that there is our score lines here. And to stand it up, they can kind of catch it on that greeting and stand it up. So I kept the inside. I kept actually most of it very, very simple. Just a few greetings and then a stamp in the center on this one. This is the Beauty of the Earth. And then the other one is done with the Bloom Where You're Planted. And so, and it kind of, I mean, if you're going to catch it, it could get a little wonky. So just have to tighten it up a little bit on there. So mostly stamping, few die cuts here, and then some punches. And I've got a punch trick for this to show you. Yeah, thanks, Linda. I'm glad you like the card with the designer paper. And I'm gonna cut it all out right in front of you right now. Okay, so here are the measurements. Hopefully you can see them. I will have to turn them around in a minute because I didn't make a copy for myself, and that's what I'm using today to cut out the cards. So yeah, all right. So we're gonna start with a full sheet of 8.5 by 11. And I will turn this back around in a little bit so you can take a screenshot or whatever. It'll be on my blog later this week. Okay, so we start with 8.5 by 11, and on the long side, we're going to open up the paper trimmer all the way, put this in, get rid of my cutting blade so I don't mess up. And on the long side at 3/8 inch. Now that's an interesting measurement, right? I'm gonna go on the short side here because otherwise this will hang off too much. So there is 1/4 inch right here, and so in between 1/4 and 1/2 is 3/8 inch. Okay, so we're going to score. Then we're going to move it to 1 7/8. Now I'm gonna scoot it the other way. Here. Now there's 1/2 inch, there's 3/4, and so between 3/4 and 2 is the 1 7/8. Then we're going to go to 3 5/8, and there's a lot of eighths on here, and I know that can get difficult for people, but just remember it. 2/8 is 1/4. So if that helps you. Okay, that was 3 5/8. I didn't do this ahead of time, so I'm hoping I don't mess up here. 5 1/8, so there's 5, and then each short one on this line is a 1/16. So you want 2/16 to get 5 1/8, and then we go to 5 1/2, and that's the last one. And the reason I'm doing it on a full piece is because now all I need to do is cut this in half and I have 2 pieces ready to go. Now I'm going to use my cutting blade. So now I've got 2. Okay, and I will turn that around for you so you can now copy that or take a screenshot or whatever you're going to do. Okay, all right, we'll take one of these, fold it in half, get my bone folder out, and that's on the 5.5. And now we have this 1/4 inch, so I know that that's going to lay this way. So I'm going to open that up. Hopefully that is still straight. Yes. Now the rest of this, because it's a bay window, I want it to be outward. Let's see. Yep, and then this one is going to be inward or flat. Okay, so there is our bay window. See how easy that is? Okay, so now the cutting of the paper. Now I did do a couple of them already. So let's get the paper trimmer back in here. And the paper, the designer paper is 4 1/8 by 6. You're gonna cut this and you can kind of see that I cut this already. Let's see if I can find where I cut. No, must be on this side. Yes, okay, so this is started out at 6 inches. Now, I'm gonna turn this over so I can see it. And now I have to turn this over one more time, I'm sorry. Okay, all right, so we are going to do, cut in 4 pieces in order, 1 3/8, 1 5/8. Then we do 1 3/8 again. Okay, I'm gonna go, hopefully this is the right, if it's not, the pattern just will not match. Because I did it halfway already and then I stopped myself, it might be a little confusing. Basically, you need 2 pieces that are 1 3/8, 2 pieces that are 1 5/8, but it is smart to do it in order so the pattern does match, if you get what I mean. And even that last piece, the pattern actually matches. So unfortunately, because I did it part way, halfway, and then stopped and said, wait, I should do it online, I had to switch gears on here. Hey everybody, welcome. Okay, so what we're going to do, once again, I'm going to try and match these up. It's going to be interesting. Must be, that's probably the best I'm going to get. Yeah. We will just do it this way. Okay, so we're gonna do a narrow piece. Oh, don't tell me glue. Yep, there you go. Okay, a narrow piece first. And you could do the 4 1/8 inch long. Sorry, I'm gonna turn this back around for you. I apologize. Okay, we're just gonna add all these rectangles. And mine may not meet up perfectly, but that's because I kind of wung it a little bit in the prep. I was gonna do it all, and then I realized you're gonna wanna watch some of that. Okay, now these pieces are very small, very narrow. And I could use the other side, the brick, and I might just change it up in this case, just to do something different. Those are very narrow, just 1/4 inch. And they go on the edge. I know the brick is running the wrong way, so, but in the interest of speed, we're going to, and this is how I cut it for the other pattern, but it'll be fine. That's the nice thing about this glue is you can move it slightly when you're ready. Okay, so this piece goes in the inside. And that is our last piece on that set of 4. I hope I did it. I did it the wrong way. Did anybody catch that? It's going up instead of down. Well, plants grow up too. So better make sure it's all the same though. Interesting. I did not catch that. So this one will be very different. Okay, we will add that little strip of brick going the wrong way. A lot of wrong ways tonight. Oh, okay, and then the inside piece is, as you can see, the white inside is, that's an interesting measurement. It's 4, let's see, I didn't realize that. It is 4 1/8 by 3 1/4. Well, I'm glad you wanted to learn this, and I'm providing that service to you, Kathleen. Awesome. Yeah, okay, that's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Even though the plants are growing up, it does not really matter. Let me show you this one. They're growing, falling down, growing up. I don't know what the real difference would be because they do both, right? Okay, so I did do a few things ahead of time. A few die cuts to speed things along a little bit. Just so you know, there will be a video tomorrow, my usual Tuesday. Yes, I am very real, Trish. Thank you. Yep, definitely do make some mistakes at times. Yeah, there will be another video tomorrow morning at 11, my usual Tuesday morning, 11 o'clock Central Time. However, it might be short because our tree guy is finally going to get to cutting down our tree. So we've been waiting for him to do this for a good month, and of course Tuesday morning is when he starts. So depending on how loud it is, because my studio is very close to where he is going to cut down the tree. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Okay, so I'm going to do all my stamping. Now, one thing I want to point out to you on this stamp set, let's see if I can get this not to glare, a little note with the biggest thanks. So you can see a little note is alone. I just stamped it separately. Well, I cut that apart so I could use a little note because I love that saying, a little note. It's what we do, right? We're making note cards or notes to people. And so that with the biggest thanks, instead of being connected, is separate. So on my block, let's see if I can find it. Right here is the rest of that greeting with the biggest thanks. And if I want to use it together, I didn't cut anything else off. So all I need to do is put them on the same block together. So it works really well. Go ahead and change up your stamps if you want to. It's just fine to do that. Okay, let's make sure I don't have any kitty hairs on my stamp. And I'll just stamp that. I'm going to get all my stamping done and out of the way before I move on here. And we're going to stamp some plants because in the inside, see that? I'm going to do that one, I believe. I have everything. Okay, so the ink I was using is the Evening Evergreen. The cardstock on this one was Soft Succulent, and the one I'm doing now is the Evening Evergreen. So changing it up quite a bit. And so I'm inking the pot in the Cinnamon Cider, which matches the brick, and stamping that. Then I'll stamp my leaves, and this is a little dark. I may just switch for my leaves to the Soft Succulent. I think that's plenty dark. Now a little tip. Do I have a piece of paper here? I do. I'm going to use a Post-it note, and boy, this is, talk about a scrap out of my garbage. Put a little Post-it note here just under my pot, or under the edge of my pot, and then I ink that up with Soft Succulent, and that way the stem will be on the Post-it, and the plant will be coming out from behind it. So that's how you do that. Okay, so next trick will be the punch trick that I'm going to show you. Okay, let me put my ink pads away. All right, so you notice on the front of this card, this shape right here. Well, we don't have anything like that right now, and I wanted something quick that is a punch. So I chose to use the Everyday Label punch, And what I did was just stamp on, it's probably a little bit more than a 1/2 inch strip of paper. Really doesn't matter how much, depending on how much of an edge you want. And then it's just a matter of getting it even with my shaky hands. Every little tiny movement. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, my little pieces. Now I have a little bit wider piece. This is probably 3/4 of an inch of the Evening Evergreen. So what I'm going to do is get my dimensionals out. Oops, there we go, I got 2. And pop those on. I guess I'm estimating on the width of my punch here. Put that on, get it centered best I can. Now use your same punch to insert in the back. Now you notice I'm not going all the way in the depth of the punch, which is a normal way, right? You're gonna go through the back, just the back. And now you can judge exactly how deep you want this, how much of an edge you want. And like I said, every little, and then I wanna make sure that this is very horizontal with the punch. Okay, so that's that one. Wouldn't have to turn it over, but I'm very right-handed, so I am going to turn it over and use the same one, get approximately the same width, a little bit deeper. There. So now I have a perfect little layered punch that doesn't look anything like my punch that I started with. So I love using punches that way. Okay, all right, let's get this in here. Okay, it's a little bit long. I'm gonna get my paper trimmer out before I glue it and just trim, let's see, just a little bit off so it matches the other one. Let's see if that matches that better. Yes. Okay. For any of you eyeballers, I love to, I'm a very big eyeballer. I hardly ever measure my layers. When I'm doing layering, it's just eyeballing. Okay, we are getting closer. Now this one, I have to decide, I think my plan was, I'm gonna switch this to up there, just to have some fun. So I did die cut. Now these are the, let's see, what are they called? Perfect Plants dies. And most of them are in here, I think. And so I did the macrame hanger, the plant hanger, out of cinnamon cider. I stamped the pot, that one's right here, with soft succulent. And then this is actually from the designer paper. So that there are several, I think it's this pattern right here, several plants in there that match and pots the designer paper. So it's really cool. I didn't have to stamp that at all. I just die cut it using the matching dies. Love that. Okay, so we are going to add some adhesive to the back of this. Just a few smears. I don't like to have a whole lot on there, and we'll just add this to the pot. This is such a neat bundle. And now this one, what you can do is kind of have the plant pop out. If you just bend it slightly, you can have these leaves pop out of the hanger. See that? Isn't that neat? So it looks more 3D. So what I do here then is just add a little bit of adhesive where that stem will be. I'm gonna turn it over, and then you'll see my next hint. Let it dry. Okay, now I'm gonna take my dimensionals and add them so it covers both the plant and the pot itself and even the hanger. So then I don't have to add glue to all those little areas. I can let the dimensionals do the hard work. Okay, so one of the reasons I wanted to have my plants hanging is so this looked like it was going to be hanging, but it is, you know, I'm the creator, right? I'm the builder, as Marilyn would say. So I'm just going to hang that in the center The only problem with this is now I don't have a place for this, although maybe that's okay to do it right on the pot. What do you think? I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it. We'll just add a little adhesive here, and then I'm going to use some of my edges. I like to just tear it. I'm a little impatient. And add them right here, because then I know it's going to be inside that level. Does that make sense? And now I just want to center it. I'm almost tempted to move it up, but it's too late. Okay, so now we just need something over here. And I went ahead earlier and stamped and die cut a pot. So I did, I'm gonna just put a little bit of adhesive there, and then this pot is in the dies, and then I ran it through the macrame embossing folder. This one right here. So our club card features this embossing folder in this whole suite, so I will share that probably next week. Now, so I need something that kind of holds this in place. So in other words, I want to pop this up, because then this little lip here will catch on that. And I'm going to cover that dimensional with a little bit of that edge of that plant die cut so it holds together well. And I think I'll put this down low. Oops, it keeps moving on me. Yeah, because plants aren't floating, right? So I'll put this down low, and that's going to catch and hold our card open for the recipient. Okay, so I did add on this card, you see some of these gems. These are the genial gems, and I'm going to add just a few of those. Thanks, Marty. I'm glad you like this. It is a fun card, really fun card. So just a few of these, and you know, it's funny, these are in, I believe they're cinnamon cider and mint macaron, but boy, it seems like this is so subtly gold that you can add it to tans and golds and the browns, and then the greens work with even pool party. They're quite versatile. Okay, there is our card. So I changed it up a little bit to feature, oh, I forgot I had this one too, and I could even add this one. It's a little late now because I glued that, but this one could have been in there too. Like, if I wanted to, I could have even added it here, but I think it would get caught and bent too much. But if you see what I'm saying here, this could sneak. See if I can do it. Kind of a challenge. See if I can lift that up. There we go. So you could have a very bushy plant. In fact, I kind of like that. I'm gonna do it. Just add a little adhesive to that area right there. Hold it down. And I have a two-toned plant. I think that's pretty neat. So there are those cards. Now, if you want to take a screenshot with those cards, and you can see the cute little inside. I think it's pretty intuitive as far as somebody who doesn't stamp knowing how to arrange or display this card. So if they get in a flat envelope, I love that it folds flat for mailing and then opens up for display. So I'm glad you like it. I'm glad it certainly wasn't my idea, Diane. I wish I could take credit for new ideas. That is not my forte. Now and then I come up with some card ideas, but fun folds, coming up with them, not my forte. I'm not that creative in that way. But thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Glad everybody likes the cards. I'd love to see if you make one. Remember that you have a week to make one and display it and post it on my group or my page. I think it'll be in the page, or the group, I'm sorry, the Flower Bug Stamp and Share. And you can post yours, and then you'll be in the door prize drawing for a free gift that I'll send to you. So you have 1 week from today, and then I do the prize drawing. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see some of you tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Central Time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.